very much expect that to happen.
For me, the biggest thing, and I think Seth put it very, very well, Super put it here, is we have taken down the map picks for just a second, just to get some clarification on the maps themselves. I'll be back up in just a moment, so our apologies if, we're going to keep you entertained, and I'll be back up, or edutained, because it's educational entertainment. I'm big on edutainment.
In a way, yeah.
Big on edutainment. So it'll be back up in just a second. But for me, I think the one main takeaway at what Super said was that you cannot discredit a team that has made it to the finals. Whether you like it or not, whether you think that they don't deserve their position, you don't just luck your way into being in the final two after a series of ladder matches and then a bracket itself. You don't get here based on luck. So clearly, to be able to vanquish the teams that they have along the way, Rekkles has been playing a game that deserves and warrants our respect, as has Era.
Yes.
But Era doesn't really have as much to prove. They have players that have been to LAN, and the only member that's been to LAN from Rekkles is Foxay, unironically with the team that he's now competing against. So it's just one of those things where you have to make sure that they play the level that they've played at to win all these matches.
There's a bit of a stigma associated with ranked teams or challenger teams, and I think it's to do with the fact that in the past it's been the case that there's always been like a top team inside of the Pro League, and then even some of the Pro League teams they weren't maybe as competitive, and now it's just not that way anymore. It hasn't been that way for a while now, but that stigma still lingers, and the negative light that sometimes more experienced, older pros cast on some of the newer up-and-coming pros, it can really be like a genuinely, maybe not the best thing to deal with, maybe not the best environment, but it persists still, despite the fact that, like you said, Rekkles and Era, they're the ones who made it to the finals. It wasn't what everyone was expecting, but I think at this point, we need to address that it should be what you should expect. You should expect anything to be possible. This is Rainbow Six Siege. This is not a game that is super predictable. There's always a random X factor, and sometimes people cast that in a negative light. I happen to think that that's what one of the parts that makes Rainbow Six such a great esport. I happen to think that it's all about the amount of time you put in every single day, because the reality is that even despite all of your experience from the past, that doesn't play into the now. The meta is constantly evolving, constantly shifting, and you need to always be on your toes, developing your own team's meta and not get stuck in that past, because you're going to have situations like Rekkles and Era who have put themselves now here at the top of this qualifier, and the teams that maybe have a little bit the old-aged experience, they didn't make it. So.
Right.
What we would call upsets, I don't think are really upsets if we take a step back.
I think, and especially North America as a region is one that I look at with a lot of uncertainty. In EU, there is a much more defined pecking order, I would say, of which teams are performing better than others, if I can say it in a diplomatic way. For Latin America, it's the same. I think there's very clear tiers in Latin America and APAC as well. But when I look at North America, especially next season in North America, yeah, you've got to think that both EG and Elevate are going to likely be top contenders, even though Elevate did have a disappointing season in Year 2, Season 3. But EG won and looked quite good. But then you've got everybody after that you're just wondering, well, Ronin made the Final Four.
Yeah.
Era made the Final Four. Rekkles could conceivably qualify depending on how it goes. Flipside, who went undefeated in the ladder matches themselves, had a disappointing elimination, in the quarters.
One. I think they were undefeated for the majority of it.
No, I'm pretty certain Flipside was. I could be
wrong.
They
might have finished undefeated.
I think they finished like 17-0 or 18-0.
Either way, it doesn't matter. They had an amazing performance in the ladder, like you said.
After almost being relegated, and are they going to be able to continue to do that well in Pro League next season? Are we going to see the same inconsistency with the team? And then what is going on with Rogue, a team that went to LAN 2 seasons ago that has had a roster change that a lot of people expected to win this.
Yeah.
Not only did not make LAN disappointingly last season, but now didn't even make it to the Final Four. So
that's a big question on everyone's mind,
There's a lot of questions
too.
in North America.
What is happening with Rogue? Everyone really wants to know because, I mean, like you said, they've seen the roster changes easily instead of King George now, and but at the same time they've been down and out for so long now. It seems like nobody actually knows what's going on in that camp. And of course, we didn't get to cast any of the we didn't get to see any of the Rogue matches through the qualifiers before they got eliminated. So we don't know. We didn't see their play, unfortunately. And now we have to wait till possibly the Invitational if they get a wild
I'm
card.
testing
maybe
my
even longer
voice
if they don't.
because I
So
want to be able to turn it on
it is an odd thing. The team that was
when I'm
considered
streaming. So if
widely,
I have like a
especially at
5
the beginning,
stack
to
in
be
here,
one of the
I
top
can
teams in NA,
hit a button,
is
and
seemingly
then
now
the people
not
in my
really
lobby won't hear
able
me, but my
to
stream will
push
hear me.
forward
I'm
and get
working
the
on it.
wins that they so desire. Because I know they still have the drive. They still really want those wins. I'm not sure if maybe they're not playing as much practice, but who knows? We are just
finding
waiting
TVs
on some
trying to do.
clarification still, ladies and gentlemen, in case you're wondering about the actual maps that we're going to be playing. So we'll see. Maybe are we going to be getting a break at some point, or if we're just going to keep it on.
So we are being told that is a best of 5.
Best of 5.
Which is what I had heard.
Yeah, that's what I thought
I
too.
had heard that the finals are bests of 5. That's why, if you remember at the very top of our scoreboard, it was the 3
and 3
because you need to win 3 of them. So
yeah.
it's going to be a best of 5. Our first matchup is going to be on Cafe
Best of
Dostoevsky.
5. All right, this is
Waiting to
awesome.
hear back if we're going to toss to a
First time
break
I've
or
ever
wait.
seen
The team is now in the. Both teams are now.
Yeah,
in
I'm
the
trying
lobby, so
to
all we need
keybind
do
my
is
Discord
wait
so
to hear
that,
back, but
like, when I'm in a
just
group
waiting
on
to,
Discord, if I have like
just
5
waiting
guys
for
in
a
there
little
or
bit of
whatever,
info regarding the map
I can
names,
hit a
and then we'll be
button,
good to go.
There was
and
a
the
little
people
bit
that
of
are in my
confusion,
Discord
likely
won't hear
because they
me,
took
but
the
my
shift
voice
from
is still
best of 3 to
projecting out
best
to
of
my
5,
stream.
something like that.
So I'm
But,
trying to figure out which key
it'll be
binding I need
cleared
to
up
use
in
because
due
there's numerous
course. We just
options
gotta
when I'm in this Discord.
Hold on until then.
There is
Cafe is going to be our first map, so obviously a very
There's
linear map.
push to
There's
mute.
not a whole lot to talk about
There is push
I
to
don't
talk.
Really feel like we
There
need to
is
delve
toggle
too
mute.
much into
There
it.
is toggle
we saw a
deafen.
lot of play
There is toggle
from
VAD.
Reckless. I
There's
think it was
toggle
on the
streamer
East
mode.
Windows
So
the last time they went there, or it was possibly Era, but actually both of them, I think. They do like to repel on those East windows, which is a nice. I think it's kind of making more proficient in the North American region right now. It's definitely what people are preferring because the top of Red Stairs is kind of fizzled out. I mean, everybody does that. It's to the point in which everyone has a counter strat for it. You can't really make it be an excellent strat anymore.
Yeah, I can do that exactly. Is do the
if we
push
see
to
the
talk.
Era that played on Cafe yesterday, it's going to be a
set my
handful
default
for
for push to
because
talk,
Ronan did not
and then have a
look like they had an
toggle to
answer
go like
whatsoever
it's not
for the way that they were playing,
push to
specifically
talk because
how well Cafe
for the most part,
you don't have the ability to
I'm
go
talking
for the
and I'm
those cheeky plays,
okay with
how well
my
Blackbeard, such
stream
as
hearing me
Bosco,
as well as
can
the
play.
people
We're
in my
gonna toss
lobby.
into the game, though. It is already.
There's just
We're
certain
gonna
times I
want to
go and
Cafe
only my stream
Dostoevsky
can hear me
is
because
going to be
I don't want
map
to
number 1,
annoy
and this is the
like,
first
people in my
best
lobby
of
when I'm talking to
5
my
in NA
reviewing.
Rainbow Six competitive history, I believe.
Yeah,
I don't
you're
think we've done a
probably
best
right.
of 5
probably
before
just
ever.
change
Well, not at least in ESL leagues that I know of.
There you are. So, for the very first time, we'll toss into the game in just a
push
moment.
talks.
Era versus
Right,
Reckless.
here we go.
Era will start on defense. Reckless on
Championship.
attack. And here we are in round number 1.
So, yeah, here we go. Loading an operator selection, no surprises as per usual. Again, I don't really think this is possible to surprise anymore unless you're bringing a Lord Tachanka. And
in this game, usually I
top floor defense
do my
from Era.
talking
We have
to
actually
the
seen a couple mixes
stream
on Cafe.
only
Interestingly,
if,
we've seen a
say,
couple, I think yesterday
I'm
we
dead.
actually saw teams go to the
people that
middle
are
floor
alive
rather
would
than
get
the top
annoyed
floor
if
to
I was
start, but none of that's
constantly
happening here.
talking.
What I really like
people
about the
when-
setup that it seems Era is going to be employing here is
when I'm
the
dead,
holes
they're
that
alive.
they make in that piano wall that face towards the cigar doorway into bar. That's those holes I've actually seen.
My
such
prediction
good
is
use, as of
Era
in the
will
later
win
the
this
matches we've been seeing lately.
match.
The one
probably
thing they
pretty
don't have is,
easily.
of course, the castle barricade that they would typically put on the cigar doorway, which means that if they get too aggressive in pixel spot, which is where you see my man standing right now,
Usually, if it's like
likely, or Gurmy right now,
Greasy
pixel spot, then it's
and
likely that you'll see
like
the library
Brandon
lose
and Poppy
control,
and
but that
those
shield
guys, like
actually
the normal
might
people, I don't have a
negate
problem
that. If you use the shield properly,
talking,
you can avoid
like,
any
when they
angles
can hear
from
me.
cigar, and instead, yeah, he's doing
But,
it right now. That's a perfect display. Thank you, Gurmy. I appreciate that.
lately
Just
I've
let
been
this
playing
go,
with a
Gurman.
lot of like
Good old Gurman.
Old Gurman Werman.
pretty
Gurman,
competitive
Gurman
people,
Werman, what a guy.
He is a guy, yeah.
and
It's
they get
confirmation there. Breezy
they get
running the
annoyed
Blackbeard.
at
I
people
won't
if
be too surprised
you're
if we see a
talking
Blackbeard
non-game related.
every single
So that's
time,
been
at least
my
from the
motivation.
beginning. I mean,
Like
it's-
luckily
He's so good
they
on Cafe,
unleashed
put him on
the
window.
absolutely
the
especially
frustration
Bosco is
on
going to be somebody
a friend
to
of
watch
mine who
as
was
well as you're
streaming
gonna
at the
play
same
Mira.
time.
He's
We were
a
both
very good
streaming,
anchor, and
and
that's
he
one thing for
kept
Bosco
talking
is
to like
he
the
also brings to the
his
team a lot of
viewers, and I
experience,
wasn't.
and
Oh,
being
yeah.
And they got
technically
pissed at
the
him.
newest member of Era, he has gone to LAN before. The only member of the team that is not a super, of course. So, but 1 minute in, and they begin their ascent towards the top.
I've been
of
I
Cafe.
am not really competing
Not a lot
still
has really
today, but
transpired here. Now,
I'm playing much more
typically,
competitively than I
that's
used
what
to.
we'll see on Cafe. Obviously,
Just
first minute
in-
is just the attackers
why
getting
not?
themselves to the roof without dying to spawn.
I'm
creeps,
decent
right?
at
That's
it,
the whole
so it
priority.
makes it.
But they've actually
makes it
pushed
fun.
in a little bit faster than we're used to. Breezy has pushed his way into Cigar. He has taken a little bit of damage to his first rifle shield, but he has an alternative shield, so he should be fine.
Blackbeard
Bosco
die.
going to C4 onto the Blackbeard and not
Ooh,
hit
he's
the C4, actually. Kind of surprised there. Breezy managing to just narrowly dodge away without taking any damage at all. Now, Zofia is going to be forcing out Pixel Spot using her ability. That's actually very good use of the Zofia.
Are you able to hear the commentary that I'm
Hutchins,
listening to?
forcing Bandit into the white hallway.
Man, just guarding that Mira inside of the bathroom. They've
Yeah,
actually given
like
up
the
a
Optic
lot of real
house.
estate
Yeah.
right now
I think Evil
to
Geniuses has a
Reckless,
house.
but
Like
at the same time,
the bigger
Reckless isn't
orgs
doing
have
much
these
with it or
houses,
hasn't,
and it's
other
just
than
so
trying to get
sick.
themselves
Like
into position.
that would be the
Breezy
coolest
still has that
freaking
rifle shield as he'll creep
lifestyle.
up towards Cocktail.
being able to play in
There's
a
nobody inside a
pro
freezer
team, and then
either.
you
So
just
take a
live
look at
with
this.
the
Almost
homies.
half of the upstairs map
awesome.
is completely in favor of Reckless. First kill is going to be Goddess, eliminating K9. That's the Hibana taking down the Yokai.
Like the
and
Optic
Echo
house is
with him. My
Probably
man,
the
a
most
nice C4
well-known
onto
one for
ZZ.
the
You lose
North
your
Americans,
Twitch,
but
the Twitch drone is not really going to be employed at
I know
this
Evil
late
Geniuses
in
has
the
a house
round.
because
Gurmey's
there used to be a
managing
Halo
to try
team
and get
that
away.
was
A
together
second
like
kill
that.
from Goddess as Gurmey trades that off.
Genius
and
to get out her bearing.
eliminating Breezy.
Yep.
You've lost your
Hero.
Jaeger and your Echo on defense.
Yep.
Bosco manages to come in, goes for a double kill. Takes down Fox and can't stop the defuse. Goddess voluntarily stops before creeping in, and that's a third kill
That
for
wa-
her before
that
Gurmey trades her off.
Goddess is
and it's
actually
all up
really
to
good.
powerful, but Sam Maman is
Watch
there.
this guy, my
And
man. I
Era,
think he's
after what looked to be a pretty good
he's
start for
nasty.
Reckless. Era is going to take round number 1.
I mean, you're supposed to win that top floor defense, but you're right. It did seem like Reckless had a lot of control, a lot more than I was expecting, and it's the opposite Era that from what we saw yesterday. Yesterday, Era was just running out all the
little bit.
time, everywhere. It seemed to be their just their whole priority was just get aggressive on
It was
Roman.
set at about
And they've toned
55%.
themselves down here for this match against Reckless, and that might be due to the fact that, again, these teams, they know each other very well.
This
Again, scrim
looks like
partners. Era might be just
volumes
trying to do
should be
something
pretty
completely
even.
different, and
Me
it makes a
and
lot of sense
volume,
too,
let me
because
know
the
if I
way
need to
Reckless
switch
was playing
anything
it,
up.
they were clearly, yes, they got into their positions quickly,
Poppy,
but once they got
what's
into
up,
their
man?
positions, they just waited for the aggression they expected.
I
to
think
come from
Era's
Era,
gonna
and
win,
it
Poppy.
didn't,
Just
for at least for
throwing
the
that
most
out
part.
there. I
Goddess
think
did get
Era
one
wins
pick
this
on,
game, and I
because
think
the
they
defender was
probably
pushing, but other than
they're
that,
doing a best of 5, which
It was a nice
cool,
3K from her.
but I think
Yeah,
they
it
might
was.
win
a good
3 to
certainly a
1
good 3K.
or
I
even
think,
3 to 0.
I think she's been having some really good matches throughout these qualifiers.
Yeah, she's empowered by the rest of her team. and
Which
we'll
team
see
house was
if they
that
fare
for?
as
Was
well
it
on
Optic
defense
or
as Era
who was
did.
it?
Now, one of the big
I think
takeaways
FaZe
for me
probably
on that
has
one
a
was that even
really
though
nice
they gave
house
up a
because
lot
they have
of
a huge
control,
following.
they were still
Like, some
able
of
to
those
stick to
orgs
the
are
sites, and
insane,
you
the
basically had
size of
5 people.
them.
They had no roam whatsoever. All 5 were on
That's
site.
what I'm saying. Is like because yesterday,
Yeah,
Era,
Stumpy,
they
he's
were
on
just,
Optic.
they were roaming everywhere.
It's
they
in
were peeking out
Chicago, I
everything.
think.
They wanted those kills on the outside of the map, and that's a totally justifiable strategy, and it worked for them against Ronin.
Yeah,
And then total.
they're the
shit.
biggest
Yes,
North
it's such
American
a weird
org.
transition for them. But again, you got to imagine they expected Reckless.
and it's
to,
owned by a single guy.
expect The aggression.
He
so.
There's Fox.
he
They were
started the org a
probably
few years
the
ago.
Most grotesque combination.
And it's just-
of,
I mean, now he's-
weapons.
I didn't see it.
got
He's
millions.
running
I
the
think he actually
UMP
sold
with a red
like
dot sight and a long barrel.
part of
Oh
his
my gosh,
stock
Fox
into
He's gonna break the window as there is an Ash
to
just on
the
the other
Houston
side, but
Tech or the
not gonna go for the C4E yet.
Texans.
Ash is
No,
certainly gonna
Texas
hear
Rangers,
that heartbeat
to the
sensor,
Texas
gonna
Rangers,
vault
he
in
sold for
fact, but lose the fight, get headshot by Foxe before Bosco can get that refrag. Blackbeard's DMR, a very
Optic has the
powerful
best
weapon,
Halo
actually
team, too.
2
They've,
shots
like,
of pulse to, I think, any part
dominate.
of the
Since
body
Halo 5 came
at
out,
this,
they've basically
current
been the
global
best
game.
team the entire time,
Yeah,
winning
it's
almost every
lethal. And I
tournament.
know a lot of people do take the scar on him because it's a good gun, but Blackbeard actually very fortunate.
And their
to be,
COD team, the Call of
equipped
Duty
with
team,
2
with Formal and
very
Scump and
proficient
Karma.
guns.
Right.
But DMR
I forget
isn't
who
seen
their
an
other
awful
guy
lot.
is.
DMRs in general are not seen
I
an
mean,
awful lot.
I
so.
think
Those guys are
Blackbeard's
nuts.
DMR has been seeing.
Optic
Most
wins
people
everything.
have been playing Blackbeard's DMR lately because it is very powerful right now, and Bosco has been actually having a great time with it in matches as of late. And as you see him push into the piano
People in this
small
game,
bar, he's
They
being
really
contested. He's
complain
trying to
about
challenge
this operator
Goddess, who's
Blackbeard,
playing inside of Pixel Spot,
because
but she's a
that's-
notoriously
that,
patient player, so it's likely she's either going to
Making
rotate into
notes,
White
that's
Hall
right.
or simply not
Dude,
do
we were-
anything here.
we were
have
actually
opened up the
pretty
cabinet
good.
next to Goddess,
I think
so she
was
can
that
play nice
original
and tight
Black
in the
Ops that
corner.
we did that, or was that
Flashbangs
Black
are
Ops
coming out.
2?
Gotta be
or-
careful. My man gonna grenade himself.
Wow.
An excellent nade there is going to put the
Kill
defense
himself.
now in a
But
one-man
we were actually pretty good
advantage.
at
Last
At,
minute of the round,
that
and Era
Black
has
Ops
yet
2.
to
We
establish
were pretty good at
any
that game.
control, really, apart from
Search
top
and
of
Destroy,
red
we
stairs.
Which could have been
were
a pocket
primary.
nade as well. I'm not
Search and
entirely
Destroy,
certain
but
why, but
that was a lot of
Whoopsie all
fun.
the same.
A
We were
whoopsie all
really
the same
prepared because we
indeed.
did
King
like
Leo
the
school for
if we
grenades and
die,
how to do
we have
other stuff.
rotations to
That is
come
one of King Leo actually
um,
announced his retirement
to
yesterday.
back up
so
the remaining
happy trails
players.
to
Like,
him, and it was a pleasure
we were
to be able to
actually
cast
really
these matches.
prepared for
Regardless,
that.
45 seconds left in this round. Only one down is Fox.
All right,
so we
Poppy,
don't have
I'm
to
in,
look at that hideous gun
I'm in
combination
the
that he runs.
chit chat
Some
lobby.
smoke as Bosco is now going to be pushed out of Cigar, and they're going to try to hold.
Are you
K9
on
up
Discord,
top,
Zach?
doing K9 things, just standing and waiting patiently himself before now looking like he's going to drop. And this is a couple times we saw this against Ronin yesterday. Era just almost stalling out, and there's still no real push here
There's not
at the
three
moment. But
I don't
Breezy
think traded.
eliminates Super. Bosco takes down
What's your,
Powerful. That's Bosco's second kill
score?
of the round. He has both of them so far. Goddess needs to get pressured inside a pixel.
I don't know.
She'll see the Blackbeard
It's
come around. He doesn't have his
over.
shield up. A nice
Yeah,
kill
what's
from
up,
Lauren onto
man?
What's up,
Bosco.
Poppy? How's
She'll
it
go
going,
for a
man?
second, but K9 wins that fight. He's the only member of Era left. Just simply going to run out of time. A nice pre-fire from the
time
smoke
of
there
day
will
your place,
prevent him
Pop?
from picking up the diffuser. Even if he got it,
7
wouldn't have
AM.
mattered at all.
Today
Just
I'm
out of
going
time,
to get the new
Reckless
GPU.
ties it up.
So,
Say that
you
again?
know what really stood out to me in that round? Goddess spent
Tonight
2
I'm going
minutes
to buy the new
and
graphics card.
40 seconds
New
in
laptop?
Pixel Spot, just
Graphics card,
waiting it
GPU.
out,
Oh,
ready
alright.
for the
What are you
round
gonna
to
get?
end. And that is the same
I don't know,
strategy we have seen
maybe
from both
1060.
teams now. We have
Wow.
seen on the top
Is
floor
that the only thing you
defense
need to
wait,
fix your
just nothing but wait.
current situation?
And that's completely opposite from
no.
what we've seen from both of these teams, I think, in the past. So
I need a
definitely
motherboard
a
and
big
a
shift.
processor
And again,
also.
Oh, you'll still
obviously
need
it's
a-
because they know each other. It's because
Damn,
they're
your
like,
whole
oh, we're gonna do
motherboard
something
burned
different.
up?
We're gonna try and mix things
Hey,
up, but they're both
invite
both
this
mixing up
soul,
in
my
the same
diesel
way,
guy
so
to
it's kind of,
Discord,
it's kind of
so we
intriguing,
Yeah,
really,
well.
that they can be
I'm
so
doing that right now.
similar in that sense.
He wants to
So
watch the
Goddess
stream with
learning
us.
from K9 on how to be
He's,
patient. We do have in front of
I've
us
known
now,
him
however,
for
the
years
maps
and years.
that
We're
we will
roommates
be
for
playing on. So
actually for a
Cafe
while.
is going to be map number 1,
Damn,
Consulate number
nice.
2, Oregon number 3, Chalet
Okay, let's
number
watch
4,
the
and
stream.
Border number 5. So
I have the
that's-
stream on.
that's
Should
how
I,
we're going to be playing them out.
should I
I'll
just host
repeat them
it
in just a
instead of
moment
have it
for
on
all
my
of you.
stream?
It is, of course, a best of 5.
I'm watching on your Twitch channel.
Cafe, Consulate,
I could
Chalet, or Oregon, Chalet, and
I don't know.
Border.
I could
So, middle
Well-
floor
host the
defense now
channel
on this
too,
first
I
map of
don't
the best
care.
of 5.
right now. I just have
As
it
there were two
main.
successful
I just have it
defenses,
full
one
screen
from
onto
each
my
team,
monitor, and I'm
we have to
presenting
wonder
the
if it's
monitor.
going to continue. The trend will continue
Oh.
downstairs. We've got a very typical setup here. We got the Mira, just everything going in what we've seen from North America.
I feel
lately.
like
really
Era
like
will
the
win
murder
this match.
holes that happen on the red hallway.
Yeah, I think you're
denying
right,
that
dude.
red
I think
stairs push almost
I honestly
single-handedly.
think-
people used to reinforce it.
apparently
and
they're
then
doing
This is
best of
their
5,
match.
which is
people
pretty
get a
cool. But
barrage
I think
did
it's
a
gonna be
thermite strategy on red stairs. I remember they were losing really hard in the match. They
borderline
did a thermite strategy, to open up that red
3-0,
stairs
3-1. I don't know.
hallway.
I just think they're a lot
And
better
they
than
planted
Reckless.
in cover of smoke. And the
I
people in
really want to
defense
see the
realized-
Valkyrie camps.
Everybody really. They realized,
Yeah,
oh yeah, just open it up.
They
and that
started
strat is
this new
effectively
thing
dead.
where the
That's basically
casters
what
are not
everyone
really
does now.
showing the Velt cams.
Round
Oh,
number 3
why?
underway of
Because
interesting
players
strategy
complained in the
from
first
Reckless
2
right now,
seasons
taking
that
an IQ and
they
a
spend all these
Dokkaebi.
time,
Is this gonna be the
all this
first time
time
we see
finding
Dokkaebi
cams,
being
and then they
used?
just get shown to every
Because
single
I
person
don't
in their
think
other.
we saw her at all yesterday, if
Damn
I
it.
recall correctly. This could be the
Well,
first
they're
Like
not-
they
time
this
for
such a
Fox.
like really like
Surprise, surprise,
awesome
everyone.
camps.
I want to say
Like
we
you
saw
end
her
up
maybe
catching a
once,
couple of their cams because
but honestly, I can't recall
like
the
the-
Yeah,
so I
sometimes
think
they
to-
like show
to
the
play
Valkyrie
safe,
where
probably
she's like
not.
the
I
thing
think
with
we only
them.
saw
Yeah,
Vigil
sometimes
once.
you
I think we
just
saw
catch
Vigil
the-
once. I
Yeah,
think
no,
we
we
saw
saw
catch where
Vigil
they
once,
placed them,
definitely,
but
and he spawn peeked and died.
you don't
And,
don't
and
get the
we
full
did-
screen
I don't
like they
think we
used
saw
to. Pretty much
Dokkaebi.
always start with Valkyrie and just
or
watch where they
Dokkaebi.
do her cams.
We did see Zoe.
They'll
we
see
haven't
right
seen a
now
lot of
the
Zoe,
attackers team is not
but
using the
clearly
ass.
not going to be what Reckless is trying to bring here right now.
The attack, we're not using.
They also,
oh yeah,
by the
you're
way,
right.
in
They're
this
not
round,
using
have spent half of it
Yeah.
trying to get
They're
top
using
floor control, and
Sledge and
have
Most of the
not
time they're not
been
using ass.
What do you think
successful
for
in
the
that
frags?
regard yet. ZZ going to challenge
Yeah.
on a mirror
I'm
window, but
surprised they're using the
K9,
Kebby, to be honest
Cocktail
with you.
is going to get the headshot.
Yeah.
ZZ, again, one of the top fraggers.
They could have used
get him off the
BB
board,
instead of
and
this
that's a lot of
Ducati.
fight that Reckless
Yeah.
will lose.
I don't know.
Still
I don't
trying
think
to get
that
that
cell phone thing
piano
really does
control,
much.
and it's seeming a struggle here
Yeah.
for Reckless.
But
The attack
they
playing
know
out
better
as
than
you would
me.
expect, but the defense really putting up a heck of a line here in the sand.
One thing I'm going to be very curious to see
I
is how
posted a
they
thing in
employ
Reddit
all
the other
those phone
day.
calls. You only get 2 of them, mind you. It looked
It was
like
just
the
a
first one
discussion
just
based
took
on
place.
finding
And you can
out
see it's
who they
very
think
similar
is
to last
going
time
to
around.
be
Got
the
a kill on the
next
Bosco.
elite skin.
That's eliminating the smoke. That
Yeah.
was a
And,
crucial pick, especially with
They're-
plenty of time to
the
spare. Now
overwhelming
it's gonna deprive
response
the
was
defenders
that
of the
there's been
opportunity to
leaks
smoke off
that it looks
any of
like
the entry points
Ash
over
and
the next
Thatcher?
30 to 40 seconds.
Yeah.
One Miro will
They
get
have
popped.
released the
As
Ash leak.
Powerful managed to
Maybe
take out
next is
K9 as he
Ash.
rotated.
You've seen
They'll
the
push down
leak.
and try to now dislodge the
Yeah.
Valkyrie.
If you
of
see it
Gurmey
again, send
inside
me
of
that
reading room.
link. I want to see what the
Now
Ash one
comes my
looks like.
man. They'll throw a frag
All
at
right.
the wall.
You
but
can search
I'm
it
not
up on
entirely
Reddit,
certain what
Ash
Powerful was trying
leak skin.
to do there.
That's
I
what
made
everybody
leak
was
skin.
telling me
Misses
was
him.
that
Oh!
But a
Ash
beautiful
and
shot. And down goes
Thatcher
the
have pretty
man.
much
No
already
pressure
been
now
released.
on the Mira.
Yeah.
As Super
Leak.
is under fire from
Now,
Goddess.
if it's as soon
She'll
as they
sprint
release,
in, and he's down and through the wall as
Ash, I'm
Powerful
buying
finishes
that
off
one.
Gurmey. A good team effort.
Damn.
And
Did you see
Reckless
that
takes the lead.
IQ kill?
yeah, that was
It was looking like the defense might
the one on
Damn.
Bandit
doing what
or
they
the
did
one on
yesterday, which was
Mira.
having
Yeah.
the defense win every single round.
The one on
But
Bandit.
no, already
Yeah, the
broken.
Bandit was a nice shot.
Excellent job from Reckless in
Damn.
the first 2 rounds in a row, the first consecutive round. And a slight lead. Now, I believe this
I am
was
getting
Reckless's
the
map
that
pick.
1060
I
second
wanna
hand for
say
like
that it was Reckless
10k.
and then Era who picked, and then Reckless and then
Dude,
Era.
the
but I'm not
1060 is.
100%
I
sure. We'll
upgraded
find
from the
out in just
1060,
a
but there's,
second.
I mean, literally
Again,
no reason.
minor confusions
Brandon and
when it
Greasy
came
run
to that,
1060s, and
ban phase
you can
for
run.
this match, but
I mean, you'll run Siege
yeah,
at over 100
it happens.
frames
It
per
does.
second with
So
that thing.
as soon as we get the information, we'll let you know. But all the same, Reckless
It's a really
definitely
nice
seemed,
graphic card.
much more
Is it the
alive,
3
I wanna
gigabyte
say,
or the 6
on that
gigabyte?
attack. I think they've realized
Sweet,
that the main
sweet.
thing to take away
That's
from
what
that
mine
round
was
is
too.
they've realized the Era is not going to get aggressive.
I know
And
the
that was what they were
1060
trying
I
to
just
play for
worry
the first
that,
round.
yeah,
Now
like,
they've taken a
it'll
lead. They're
bottleneck
like,
with
okay, well, then
i3.
we'll be the ones to force
Yeah.
out the force out the fights.
Are
Let's
you?
talk about depth
You're
for a
upgrading your
second. At the
processor?
moment, Goddess. I know we're only in.
I have to,
round
but
number 4 is just getting underway.
like
and
it'll.
we're still in the
I'll
early
try
stages
to
of
run
the
my
matchup,
this
but Goddess is
1060
right
with
now
my
leading
this
her team.
i3
So
and the old
it's
Very
motherboard.
impressive play from her so far.
Impressive,
If
but
it works out,
ZZ
then I
has
go-
0
then
kills.
I will
So
like.
Yeah, don't
won't
fry
have
the
to buy.
1060.
it's crazy when you think
Don't
about it.
like
The
overclock
fact
it
is
trying
that
to get a
right
couple
now
extra
it's
frames.
Reckless
Just be
that
careful with that.
has the
Yeah.
depth with ZZ underperforming.
That's what
but
I did with
in
the
addition
old
to that,
960. I
Goddess
tried all
doing
the new
better.
settings and
Not
stuff.
that she did poorly
Yeah.
yesterday, but doing better.
Like I
and
went to
now
the setting and then
leading the
turned on
team.
maximum
So,
performance.
Anyway, with that said, round
Mist is
number
getting a
4 going
960 installed
underway.
in his PC.
And Fox
in a
ain't
week and a
back
half.
on pulse.
I can give him my
He's gonna
10
be
like
playing
960 if he
down
can.
the stairs, looking to gather
like,
information on
I
the
don't
enemy.
know.
He'll
It's
be
not
doing just
working,
that.
so I
Now,
don't think
Era
it will
is
work
He's a
for
notorious
him.
on Cafe for altogether now
Oh.
repelling up
It'll
that
take, like,
same exact
the
little
shipping
piece of the
charges
north
will be
wall. They did
more
it
than
yesterday, and
the
they're doing it
GPU.
again today.
Yeah,
and I
that's
think
kind of
Fox
what
may
he
have
was
watched
saying.
that
Because I was
VOD,
gonna
and
give
now
him
is
my
just
power supply
confirming
too,
the
because
suspicions
when he
of
upgraded his power supply,
Reckless as
this
he goes
Fox
for a
is
reckless
nasty,
peek outside,
dude.
eliminates
Yeah,
Gurmey,
dude.
and that's
But
going to be
when
already
he
a man
was
advantage. Good
upgrading
reading
his
there
GPU,
from
he
Fox
was also
to use his
needed a
pulse
new
heartbeat
power
sensor
supply, and I was
and
like,
expect
my-
that repel up.
My old
That was
Uh,
a really nice
power
read,
supply
I
ran
gotta
a
say. He had that
Yeah.
window
1060
nice and primed and
app
ready.
race.
Down goes Gurmey. It's a good player
So
off from
like,
Era.
did you check the prices of the
Ash,
shipping?
Not,
yeah, he
not in terms
it
of
wasn't
utility,
worth
not
it for him because
integral
the shipping costs were.
to the strat likely,
high.
but that fragging
Yeah,
potential
yeah,
is
way too
now
high.
uncertain if Bosco's drone
Damn,
down
this
Fox.
pulse
It sure
is
looks
so
like he has,
nasty.
and there was some explosives that were
What
being
is it
considered.
showing for
Fox
you when
had
you're
that
looking
C4
at it?
primed and ready. My
It's
man
showing
will
me.
drop, and now Fox
It's on
could be a
2
victim
minute
of a nice
12
grenade. All
seconds.
it's going to
2
manage to
minute
do
10
is take
seconds.
out a friendly drone and make it even harder for them
Like,
to gather that information.
what are you
Foxy at
on?
the bottom of red
A
stairs,
minute and
just
a half.
simply waiting, or rather on the
Oh
second
wait, I'll
floor.
switch to the main
As
channel
Primo
Yeah,
then.
just
gets
go on
set
the main
down from
channel
the
so we can
social
watch
And
this
all the
thing.
while, time just being wasted away here for the attack. Era's got to start making a nice push here in the top floor. And they have to remember, they're attacking the middle floor. So as soon as they get top floor control, they still have many layers of the defense to peel away. So they got to start doing that much faster.
Did you hear they're
Goddess is
doing a
gonna
best
be
of
trying
5
to
this
fight
series,
this
which is
off
pretty
with
cool.
ZZ, I believe that is, on
Yeah.
the top
Because
floor.
even like
And they're actually just going to
early
fall
finals,
back.
they always
That's
do
the right
best of
call.
3,
Last
so it's
minute of
kinda
the
cool to
round,
see
there's no
them,
reason to linger any longer. You've
Best
done
give them a
of
little
five.
bit more of
if
an
you
It'll be like
can
opportunity.
find anyone to do it.
Yeah.
And just falling back is going
I
to
don't,
a
I don't think so.
warrior
That's
team,
why
a
the
lot more
like casters
freedom
are
in terms
always
of what, like,
towards
for example,
Penta
Fox
and
Nation is
the that
ZZ gets a frag onto the man. That's now
what is the
2
other
members
team, the
of
best
Era
team
off
in
the
NA?
board as we
Geniuses.
get to the final
Yeah,
bout
Evil
of action
Geniuses.
in round number 4.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And another as ZZ takes the head off of Bosco. So
Wow,
Arrow
dude.
looking listless at the
You're
moment. It's all up to
reckless.
Super.
I
and
said
he's
it's
gonna
Damn,
be
that
lucky
smoke kill.
as every single
Yeah, I
member
said it
of
was gonna be
Reckless is
easy for
still
Era, and
around.
now look.
ZZ is going to use
They're
2
up-
of those
they're
remote
about to
gas
be up
grenades.
3-1.
One missed. Creeps up inside of the smoke. ZZ with 3 kills. Beautiful proficiency on the Super. And
How do
it's
I
all
turn
up
down
to
this Twitch
K9.
volume?
And you can see the Pulse has managed to work his way through 2 separate Claymores, but sees
have it on-
the Thatcher goes for the
What are you
shot.
watching on?
Can't make it work. And they'll just simply pull out their firearms and do it instead.
On your
Breezy
phone?
comes in,
Just use
cleans
your,
up
like,
K9
Android
and
thing
Reckless
to
now
turn down the
stringing
volume,
together
like if
3
you were on a
rounds. They're
call.
up 3-1.
That was a bit of a Stewie 2K play there from ZZ, pushing him to his
Does that
own
work?
smokes, and that's honestly we see that happen a lot on players who are playing smoke for longer periods of time. You realize, yeah, I basically got like a bubble that I can play
Hello,
inside
Daryl.
of
Can
no
you
one
hear me?
else
Yeah, I
can,
can hear
and
you.
it affords me so
Oh, yeah,
much
nice
freedom.
one. Thank
And
you.
he certainly
Love
put a
that.
lot of emphasis on that. That's the roaming smoke right there too. It's something that a lot of
See that
players,
powerful, the
especially
guy
like older
that's
pro
selecting
players who've been
Thermite?
around for a long time will like say, oh, you know, roaming smoke maybe not as maybe not viable. You need to have
Follows
on-site
me
to
on
delay
Twitter.
time, and even I would agree with that too. That sentiment
Which
of,
guy?
yeah, delay the last
Powerful?
minute of the
He's
round
Thermite
using
for
your
the
smokes.
attack.
I think
Oh.
that's the most practical
So
play.
this is the
But if you
that
can
powerful
make it
guy
work
you was
for
talking
you
about.
Yeah.
upstairs, if you can make it work for you on a roam and you can get those
Yeah,
frags,
nice.
and CZ certainly did that. I think
He
it was
was
a
the
3K
one that
round.
was
Then,
that liked my tweet about
then
the
heck
elevate
yeah,
when you
go for
commented
it.
on it
And
too.
Yeah.
and now Reckless
Yeah.
in
Commented on
The one you were
commanding
saying.
lead, it
Sweet.
seems,
Yeah.
as we have Super yet to get a kill,
Oh, there's
unfortunately.
Driver
And
updates ready.
Goddess
Gonna
still top
download
fragging
my
for her team,
update.
doing a great job.
It's Mr.
What do you
Zero
think?
right
Like 1060 will be able to
Mr.
run on
1.6
i3, right?
is apparently playing
On
as
an
Mr.
on
Zero
a
for the moment.
now. Mr.
i3?
Zero, zero,
You
zero.
promised you
Yeah.
wouldn't say anything bad about him. He told
I
you.
don't know
he
how
told
much
you not to say anything bad.
how much does the
And you just-
processor
and it's
impact
too
it?
late now.
Like
It's too late, Taro.
I have an
didn't say anything
i7
bad, I'm just speaking the truth.
7700
Okay,
K,
objectively,
and it
Objectively, he is currently
it ran
Mr.
fine
Zero. Yeah.
at
okay,
100
can't
frames per
argue that.
second.
But
I'm
what did
not
they say?
sure
You
on an
can go from
i3
0 to hero.
how much that's
So,
gonna impact
You
the
know,
frames.
the thing
What do you
about this
think?
level of play is, for the most part,
I
don't
don't
What were you
know,
getting
too.
on
there's like
frames
one
per
or two
second with
players
your
maybe who
960?
don't deserve to be where they are.
I was
but
getting
in
like
this,
90,
other than that,
80.
like, and in this
90 and
match
80.
right now,
80.
there's nobody. Everybody
Oh, dude,
has
then
the
you should
ability
be
to wake
fine
up at any
with
moment.
that i3.
You know,
You should
not
be
dropping
getting,
a frag right
I
now
think,
doesn't mean that
120,
you won't
140.
in the coming rounds. It's
With the
definitely,
1060?
it's a weird game
Yeah, I
too,
mean,
where
you're
you have
upgrading
frags
from a
don't even
960
mean that
to a
much
1060.
sometimes, depending
Everything
on your
else
role.
being the same, I'd
Sometimes all you
imagine
really
it's
need to
gonna
do
be
is
used.
Thermite open a wall.
Hey guys,
And we'll see if
Braden.
that's going to happen now. At the top of
Who's
the red
Fred Bo?
stairs, you can see Powerful laying down his claymore before he's
What
gonna
about
open
him?
up that wall into
Hatred?
the piano, where you have my
What's
man
the matter?
through your window trying to
I'm sitting there playing Escape from
Tarkov,
Kartov or whatever it is,
Yeah.
and I'm trying to listen for people walking. This jackass jumps in my channel and starts playing loud music. It's your bot.
Yeah, it was it's not a real person.
The rotation from
Yeah.
Reckless.
I
Oh,
did that to
Poppy's
you
muted.
earlier. I did that to
Round
you.
mark now, and still
I saw you in
Era
there, and I
has,
went in
not
to,
really had to fight
and I
anything
put the
off,
bot in.
just waited patiently.
Uh huh.
I like the different strategies.
Did you see that I immediately left your channel?
Yeah, I did see you left.
I was like, I don't have time to deal with this. I just went over to Dyslexics. Who did you mute, Poppy?
No.
Now there is no
I mean-
Zofia this time around, but a frag.
He was
grenade
muted.
will go off, and there's nothing really.
Oh, he
there.
must have muted his mic.
A Claymore gets it down,
Right.
and that was
He's
a very
been talking.
interesting strategy by ZZ. Not entirely certain why.
We're watching the
It was very
Rainbow
bold
Six
and brash, and there
playoffs.
was no way for Goddess to be able to trade that one off. And basically,
I have
just
permanently
giving away a
muted
free
Fredbot.
kill. Gurmy gets a second from his team on the
I actually
Powerful
have
as
him muted
Breezy
too
takes down
because
K9.
Brandon
He
used
lost
to
once
always
again.
play
Your
music
Echo
when
is
I
the
was
first one that goes
trying
down.
to listen
You're
for
gonna lose.
something.
And
I have
okay,
him muted
Breezy
too.
takes the head off. A super
It
hit
tells me
pushes
that I
out
can actually
another
block
kill
it.
from Breezy. They just
Well,
fed
and not
themselves
only
into one.
like
Bosco,
you
in
have
the
to
meantime,
mute the
amidst
thing,
the
but
chaos,
when it comes
gets
on, it
one
is
himself.
so loud.
It's all up to Foxy, and Breezy as Foxy takes
Who,
down Bosco.
who created it?
Gurman himself will have to clutch this
I don't
round.
know. One night, me,
1v2.
Poppy, and Brandon were
45
playing, and we
seconds.
added this bot into
Foxy
it.
getting the diffuser plant down, and they're just going to wait.
But
for
we
him to
also
try
added
to
this
retake
in.
the site. Always very difficult when on defense you have to retake the
Watch
site and
this.
essentially act as a de facto
Delt said,
attacker.
Braden, you dumb man.
And Foxy a beautiful shot onto his
Did it
former
talk to you?
team captain, if I remember
No.
correctly, or rather
What?
Foxy was the team
You didn't
captain.
hear
and
that
Gurmy
thing
was
talking
one of
to
his
you?
members, but regardless,
Is it Fredbot?
No.
4-1 Reckless,
It's
which
like we
dominating.
turned on this thing where we can
dominating,
do
but in keeping with the
text
theme
to
of this
speech.
latter
So
set of matches
it'll
and
like
this
if you type
bracket,
something,
not really
it'll talk to you.
expected.
Like it'll
It's possible that
it'll
Reckless
say
is
what you
the
type.
kryptonite
Like I just
Chris-
typed in Braden,
era.
you the man.
I mean,
and
it's
on
Chris
mine,
was
it
talking
talks
about
to
how
me.
that was was driving him
I'm not-
crazy.
I'm not really sure if that's
Yeah, we've been doing that.
the case, but it
Just
seems
to-
like right now, at least,
usually when we're
maybe it's because they've
messing
watched
around.
the match that Era played
Well,
yesterday.
because I
Era did
muted
play on Cafe.
Fredbot, I was
Era
I
maybe
was
did
wondering
make
if it
enough
was part
changes
of
since that match, and now
that
Reckless is just like, oh,
Fredboat
yeah,
thing,
they're doing
because
what
I've
we
muted him.
expected, and
Yeah,
it's working
it
out for
could
them.
be.
I'm not sure what's going on
I'm not
here
sure, honestly.
for Era. I mean,
Okay,
I
hold
think
on.
this could be much more
I'm
closer
gonna
to every
unmute
match. I was thinking
Fredboat
overtime,
temporarily.
overtime.
Poppy will know
But,
because Poppy knows all
Era's
about
now
all
gonna have
these
to win
bots.
3 rounds.
Okay,
with
do
that
it again.
overtime, and they seem to be struggling right now. The middle fragger for Reckless and Foxay
Delt
is
said,
equivalent
"Braden,
to
you
the top
dumb man."
fragger of Era.
Did it
Nope.
say it?
And
Nope.
that is never good.
Poppy, why isn't he able to hear the
ZZ came
text to
alive.
speak?
Breezy playing really, really well. And look
What?
at that Breezy.
What happened?
who
Braden isn't able
was,
to
if
hear
I
our
remember
text to
correctly,
speech.
statistically
Why is that?
The worst performer on the team
Maybe he
yesterday
muted
is
it?
now competing
but how-
Well,
what
but-
does he
for
do?
top frag on that team. So
What?
Awakening
What would he
and
have
Era
muted?
has looked toothless on their pushes.
So Reckless actually won again. Reckless won 2 ladder matches over Era. So I mean, it could be.
Why do you
well,
have so
we
many
checked out the
people on your
qualifiers
channel
really
now?
quick. The other way around, excuse me.
We're a
Era
growing
prevailed
community,
over
baby.
Era won 2 qualifiers.
taking
over
over.
Reckless.